Well, welcome to another bourbon hunt. Today we're in Holly Springs and we've been invited in to Uncle Jack's. So let's see what they have in bourbons and whiskeys. Okay, we're going to go down the bourbon and whiskey section here at Uncle Jack's and point out some of the bourbons and whiskeys that we like and our subscribers like. Now, McKenna 10-year. You just can't go wrong with McKenna 10-year, and $69.99. That's a good price. They've got all the, looks like a lot of different barrels. The Vantage, they've got the cast strength here, the Infinite Barrel Project, the Seagrass Dovetail. They got the Batch 35. You don't see the Batch 35 everywhere. The Batch 35 was one of my top 10 bourbons of 2023. Going down here, I hear good things about the Neatest Choice, but I've never tried it. A lot of people like the Stellum Black Label. I've heard good things about that. We're going to have to try that. Of course, up top there, you've got the Derringer. If you want to get something unusual for your bourbon lover, well, that's about as unusual as they get. A pistol as a bottle topper. Coming through here, I don't know much about the Garrisons, but I am starting to get into Texas whiskeys. So they've got a Garrisons. The Baker 7. Baker 7 is a good bourbon. At $70, I won't tell you it's the best single barrel out there, but it's consistently good and consistently, I mean, it says 7, and right here it says 8 years, 8 months, so it's more like a 9-year-old bourbon. Angel's Envy. I just tried this finished rye in the Caribbean rum casks, and it's delicious, and I'm not a rye guy. Down through here, the Oak and Eden. If you're not familiar with the Oak and Eden, they put wood staves inside these bottles to give it the finish. It's a little different approach than finishing it in a barrel. They put the staves in the bottle. And they've got a lot of different varieties of those staves. The Belle Meade. Belle Meade is going away because of Nelson Brothers, but you can still find that. And I would say if you find the Belle Meade, especially the Belle Meade Reserve, this is definitely a buy. And of course, you can't go wrong with Fiddler. The Chin Music is one of my current favorites. And they've got this Toasted, which I understand is real good. Their flagship, the Unison, can't go wrong. And I've heard good things about the Duality. The Noble Oak. I have a friend that really likes this Double Oak Rye. I like their Double Oak Bourbon. And down on the bottom shelf here, we got some Casey Jones. I've had one of the Casey Jones and was a fan of that. And of course, Redwood Empire. This is their regular bottled strength. And they have cast strength, which you may see if we go down the aisle there. And on the bottom, some gift sets if you're looking for something to do as a Christmas present. Coming down here, for you Whistle Pig fans, you've got the Whistle Pig Ryes. You got some stuff up top, which I think is probably some overflow. But Whistle Pigs, Basil Hayden's, Calumet. I have some people that are big fans of the Calumet, and I've not tasted yet. But we got the 8-year, we got a 15-year, and a 16-year Calumet. Knob Creek's here, Chicken Cock. Going through here, George Dickel, Heaven's Door. We got 4 different varieties of Heaven's Door here. And of course, our Old Forester lineup that we like so much. My favorite is the 1897 Bottled in Bond, but the 1920 and the 1910 are very good versions of their Whiskey Row series. Coming back through here, I've heard good things about the Pendleton Rye. This is a 12-year-old rye, and look at the price there, $48.99 for a 12-year-old rye. We got our Chattanoogas here, our 13th Colony, the bourbon and their rye. A couple of Widow Janes down here. Rabbit Hole. I've become a more and more fan of the Rabbit Hole. I love this Cave Hill. This is a 4-grain. I've heard good things about this Derringer and about these two others here. This is a rye and this is just a straight bourbon. And very unique bottles and a very unique flavor profile. Oh, we almost missed it over here. 2XO. Now, 2 times oak. This is their, I think this is their American oak version, which is probably the least expensive of any 2XO you can get. 1792, Old Forest Distillery, Town Branch. Let's see what we got on the bottom here. Blue Note Juke Junk. This is their regular 93. I love their Uncut series, which is really up there in the proof. We got the Boondocks, and you just can't go wrong on Cooper's Craft. It's usually in the low 30s. Was it here? $31.99. It is a Brown-Forman product. It's 100 proof. It's always good. It's always a great value. We got some Laws down here on the bottom. Wyoming whiskey, Bernheim, and a few brands I'm not real familiar with. Coming down here, we got our Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea. That's their rye. Our Long Branch, which actually I think it gets a lot of bad, it has an imaging problem. But I actually think the Long Branch is pretty good because they use charcoal filtering to mellow it out. I actually like the Long Branch. And of course, Rare Breed and Rare Breed Rye and the Wild Turkey 101s, and our different flavors of Four Roses, Bullets, Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark Cask Strength. This is 109. Generally, it's usually around 110. In fact, the one behind it says 110. This is a 2203 batch, and this is a 2301 batch. I'm familiar with the 23. That's some good stuff, and at right around $50, you can't go wrong. Broken Barrel. We've had a Broken Barrel that we liked. I forget which one it was. I think it was the 100, which isn't here. Benchmark, product of Sazerac. A lot of people like the Wilderness Trail, and they've got a, buy 2, get 20% off. Coming down here, for the money, you just can't beat Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond. It's a 7-year-old, and it is one of my new favorites. And at $57, it really is a good buy. For you Russell's fans, we got the single barrel, we got the 10-year-old, we got the rye, we got even a single barrel rye. I don't see that everywhere. Sazerac's, Redemptions. I'm a fan of the Redemption Wheated. I've not had the other Redemptions. I understand they're pretty good. We've got some new brands here. Wiggle. That's a new one on me. Haven't seen that. Buzzard's Roost, I've heard good things about. Woodinville, there's a lot of people that like the Woodinville product. And we've got one of these Bower Hills, I think it's a special reserve or barrel reserve that we need to try, and I've heard good things about that. They also are a Kentucky bourbon whiskey. We got our normal fares down here on the bottom, our Evan Williams, our Southern Comforts, and we got a few flavored bourbons and whiskeys in here. Coming down here, now we're into our Elijah Craig's, and we got our ryes and our small batches. Our Toasted Barrel. That Toasted Barrel is actually pretty good stuff. And they got the barrel proof, which this is the A122. So if you're searching an A122, I didn't even know those were still around. They've got some here still on the shelf. Our Jack Daniels, and people are telling me they can't find these single barrel proof ryes, and I see them all over North Georgia. And here at Uncle Jack's, they got 5 of them, along with the regular single barrels. And the other Jack Daniels and Jim Beams, and of course the Woodfords, the double oaked, the standard Woodfords, and then a few varieties, their malt whiskeys and their wheat whiskeys. And that pretty much completes our bourbon and rye section, except for up front where we've got some allocated bourbons and whiskeys and some store picks. And we're going to go up there next and look at those. All right. Well, we're here in Uncle Jack's with Kenny, the store manager. And Kenny is allowing us to go through and show our viewers and subscribers all the nice bourbons, whiskeys, and ryes he has, including some of his store picks and some of his nice allocated stuff. So let's get right to it. Thank you, Kenny, for inviting us in.
No problem. Thank you, my friend.
All right. I don't know why these generations of proof are still sitting around here. They came out early in the year, and Maker's Mark is, it says, final chapter. That should be a clue that you should buy these. Maker's Mark is getting out of the wood finishing series, and this is like a celebration of 3 years of the wood finishing series. I have that, and this is a wonderful gift idea for Christmas if you've not thought of it. They won't be here next year, and they won't ever be back again, so this is kind of like a one-time thing. Moving down here, Widow Jane Decadence. I can't say enough good things about Decadence. I've got 2 bottles of it. It always amazes me. I don't care if it's $100, $125, $150. It's a bourbon. If you've not had, you should come and buy it. It's that good. It is finished in premium maple syrup barrels, and it's a 10-year-old bourbon. 2 good things all together. And then some of the allocated stuff that Kenny has here. The Old Fitzgerald 8-year. He's got the Woodford Reserve, the Sonoma triple finish. We got everyone's favorite Eagle Rare 10-year. And we got a Whistle Pig. And I can't tell you how many people say they love this Elijah Craig 18-year. I've never had it, but Kenny's got that along with the Sazerac. Here's the Booker's again. This is version 4, a Storyteller. And then we got some of Kenny's store picks here. The Old Pepper. He's got a double tequila, isn't that? Okay. And the Corset Whips and Whiskey, which I've heard is one of the best whiskeys. It's not a bourbon, it's a whiskey, but I heard that's delicious. And the Strahans and the Heaven's Door. These are also store picks, the Rough Rider, and of course the Sagamore Spirit for people. Anyone that likes rye pretty much likes Sagamore Spirit.